Reopening measures are slowly taking place amid the coronavirus pandemic. Malls and restaurants are working again, and factories move more and more of their personnel back into the offices. However, that doesn't mean that people won't get sick anymore. On the contrary, there are now many more chances of spreading the virus even farther. To protect the employees and clients of your business, we developed thermocontrol screening stations. It is a quick and safe solution. Thermocontrol measures temperature at a distance of 25 centimeters. The device is autonomous. It does not require an additional employee to conduct temperature measurements or log the results. It can measure and even recognize masked faces. All of the results are logged automatically and stored in the database. You can use the station to ensure your clients and employees access to your building automatically.
John Smith, Robot.
The station can issue entrance passes and grant access to the building after it measured the person's temperature. If the visitor's temperature is high, a notification will be sent and a potential carrier of the virus can't access the building. Thermocontrol can send SMS and messenger notifications, as well as notifications over email. Temperature measurement technologies allow businesses to ensure the safety of people and potentially save lives all over the world.
All right, folks, good afternoon. And it is certainly a wonderful Happy Wellness Wednesday.
Wellness Wednesday.
Hopefully, wherever you are having a safe and productive day. I see my colleague Carolyn on the other side from the Washington D.C., Virginia area, Maryland area. How are you doing, Carolyn?
Doing really well, despite COVID. Trying to stay safe, healthy, and positive.
Fantastic! I love your color. I love that. I don't know what color that is. Is it
That
orange?
is orange. That is orange.
The orange. I love the orange.
And there's power in orange. You know, it's when we were selecting the color for the company, obviously we decided orange. Well, but orange they said is a wonderful color to have during difficult times. So this has been our color for 2020, and it's our color for 2021 as well.
And if you notice in the upper right-hand corner, the logo Hallelujah is orange.
That's it, and that's because they know it. They've done their research. They got it. Yes,
absolutely. So, how are things been? How are you doing? How are things going? How's your week going so far?
The week is going well. We are just less than 15 minutes away from the nation's capital. So there's a lot that have been going on. Our news is the nation's news. So we've had many, many challenges, but as COVID is surging, we're looking for ways to keep everybody safe and well.
Okay, good. You know, it is a big day today in the Capitol. It's historic to say the least, and we're watching history in the makings. And so I believe our grandkids are going to ask, where were you when all of this was happening? And clearly, the country is at a crossroad. The country, like President-elect Joe Biden says, we need to rediscover the soul of America, redefine who we are, where we're going. And that is so paramount because you can see the dissension, you can see the division, you can see really just the conflict, the friction. And at some point, we need to address this as a country and heal this country going forward.
Wow, you always have quite the words to say.
It's I have a lot to say, but I try not to say because I'm in the producer role now, right?
I know, but that doesn't work. Oftentimes you're a commentator and you get it.
I can't help myself. But anyway, who do we have on today? What's the special topic of discussion? Who's the guest?
So it's Wellness Wednesday, obviously. And so we have somebody right now with COVID. For the last 10 months, most of us have been fairly sedentary in our homes. And part of pandemic fatigue is sometimes we overeat, overindulge in the wrong things. So this is someone who has an incredible journey of weight loss, wellness, and now she has become from what was a casualty to really a coach helping other people get a hold of their health. So it's Coach Kimmy that we brought on because when I met her, I had no idea that she used to be twice the woman that I was seeing before me. So we
Wow.
thought that would be wonderful to help people understand that they can do it.
Let's bring her in.
Hello,
Great
Coach
rising.
Kimmy. Well,
Great rising.
there we go. All right, you're bet we can see part of you. You're giving us side eye. Okay, there we go. So it's good to have you with us, Kimberly Monique, as you have listed there. And you're quite an incredible story yourself. Right now, you look healthy, and I've seen you. You're strong. You're fit. You've got this bomb figure. But can you give us a little bit of your background?
Yes, thank you for this morning. Grand rising to all of you. I always start with something positive. So we just thank you for this rising, Lord.
And this is the one.
My walks, I was down to, I was down to 1 unit of blood, which is the amount of blood that a Godiva would have before they put embalming fluid in you. I could not get up my 6 stairs to my bedroom. And I ended up spending most of my time grading papers, writing lesson plans, and pushing through the night every night for 3 months, not realizing how ill I was. We sacrificed everything for our careers.
So let me ask you, what was your weight at the time that you're describing as a teacher? You're doing all of these things. What was your weight at the time?
I was 188, kind of toggling 10 pounds up and down.
Okay, and how tall are you? Just curious.
I'm 5'2", which is way too short for 188.
You were quite, I mean, would you have, if people talk about being overweight and they talk about being obese, would you have said that you were an overweight individual? Would that have been correct?
Doctors would say definitely I was overweight. People who didn't know me would say I was overweight. Yes.
Okay.
What I didn't realize was, although I was very active, I played flag football, tennis, and things like that. At that weight, I was tearing my body up. And then coming home, I would work all night, not get any sleep, and then go to work again. Spend the whole day there with kids. Then after that, stay the whole evening, neglect family, and just be there trying to keep my job. And then come home, kisses, hugs, quick meal, and back to work. I dragged myself through the mud and I didn't take care of myself. And so that's what led me to that illness, that level of sickness, and not noticing along the way all the changes that I was going through. So I didn't realize, because I kept pushing. I had that, we got to take care of ourselves, right?
Right. Well, we're learning now that we have to take care of ourselves. And that's why this topic with you today is so timely. The idea of self-care, taking care of ourselves and doing the things that we need to do. So it wasn't the pandemic that brought you to that point. But as I mentioned at the onset, many of us are overeating. We become sluggish. I mean, we move from one chair. We're trying to stay inside or in a safe space. And it's led many of us to battle with weight. And, part of pandemic fatigue is that we want all those comfort foods and we want to be comforted every day. So what got you in the mindset, if you didn't have the energy to walk upstairs, how did you get motivated to start doing something about you that can impact our viewers and listeners today?
Oftentimes people go through a traumatic experience that would cause or trigger them to now adhere to some concerns for their body. I actually was teaching at a school nearby, and my principal literally put me out the building. And me working all day and all night, meaning that I got to live and survive, and then get put out and think, oh my goodness, I'm gonna lose my job, my career, my house, just brought me to the attention that something was really wrong. I was whiter than my palm.
Wow.
And she said, don't bring a doctor's note, go to the hospital. And that concerned me. I got there, they wanted to do a double blood transfusion to increase my blood count. I didn't really take it seriously. I said, hold on, let me go to the bathroom. Walked out the back door of Doctor's Hospital, and then made an appointment with my personal care, who said, go to a blood doctor right now. And so he said, there's no way I'm walking. He doesn't understand how I'm surviving. And so from there, I contacted my Native American high school classmate, who is also a pharmacist. I know, oxymoron, right? She says the over-the-counter drugs, the over-the-counter vitamins are are useless. It's like eating paper. You really need some natural vitamins that don't have the preservatives and chemicals on them, on the vegetables that they're made from, in order for your body to actually consume the nutrients. And so in that search, I ran into my coach, who introduced a cellular nutrition company where I could get natural vitamins. And he taught me how to eat. And so I've adapted those ideas and concepts and studied my body, studied the way food responds. And in the last 6 years, I've come up with this plan of action that I've shared with my other partners that would literally help women around the world. And I say women because that's my vision. My vision is to help women 40 and over get back to their healthy, happy selves, because they have sacrificed their lives for their careers, their children, and their mates. And now it's time to get yourself back in order. And so that's my vision. But half of my customers are men.
Okay.
They easily believe they can get it back, and they do. But they also want it for their mates, not because they want the sexy figure wife, but because they see their wives struggling and they want it for them. So they lead by example, and then their wives come. And so it's been an exciting walk these last 6 years to see these families transform. Over 300
Wow.
families have experienced great results. And so I'm excited about sharing that with my partners, and they're learning how to do the same for women across the world. And then, of course, our men.
Okay. Now, what is your program called? You are
I'm Get Kimmy Fit 23. You
Get
can go on to
Kimmy.
Facebook and see me at Kimberly Monique. You'll
Mhm.
see my personal transformation along the way. There's this thing about our women of 40 and over. We're very prideful. We don't want people to see where we are now
Mhm.
unless we're where we need to be. And so I don't have a lot of postings of their before and afters, but they will share. If you get into my community group and talk to them, they will personally share their before and afters. They'll share their walk. They'll share and it's not even about weight loss. The weight loss is a byproduct of you taking care of your body. Weight gain is a byproduct if you need to gain weight. It's about cellular nutrition. It's about eating the right foods that your body can take the nutrients out of to give it what it needs to feed the organs to function properly. It's cellular nutrition that you need to really focus on. We do this walk where we talk about you and you scapegoating all of the people and the things that are the reasons why you are where you are. We dig until you realize there's only one person in the mirror. And what are those ways of being? We talk about ways of being because we need to see those actions and acknowledge. You can't make a change until you acknowledge where you are and how you have been. Once you get there, then you can go to, okay, what am I experiencing? What are my health issues? And what nutrients do I need to address those issues? Back to cellular nutrition. And so we start experimenting with different foods, different patterns of eating that will help you get to your weight gain, muscle gain, or your weight loss, fat loss. And that's what we focus on, not just, oh, I gained weight, or not just I lost weight. No, you don't need to lose muscle and be wobbly. You need to lose fat. And so what foods would trigger that? One of the books that I will give away and
Okay.
I attest to is Eat Right for Your Blood Type. It will, even though the history behind it may not totally fit now with today's world, there's a lot of connections between your blood type and the foods that you take in. So look at that. But in the meantime, we do that process of, okay, these foods trigger this weight loss or weight gain. And once we get that pattern of eating and the types of foods that you can eat that will help you get to your goals, which are health goals.
Healthy.
Diabetes numbers are in order. Your cholesterol is down. Those real numbers are what we look at, right? The weight loss, again, is the byproducts. And then you get to your natural body weight. So we're all not going to look the same. But are we all going to be healthy? We can. And that's what we look at. And so after we get that and get our cell going and you have your food together, then it's not until then that we focus on, okay, what kind of movements can you do? Because you can move all day. We have people in the gym building muscle all day, but internally they're tearing their body up because their body isn't getting the cellular nutrition they need. And so we're back to, 90% nutrition. And then you can easily build muscle. You can easily firm what you have already, tone up what you have if your body is aligned and getting the nutrients it needs. And so that's where we are.
Wow. I mean, you've said a lot there. And for me, when I think about if I have a dress that doesn't zip up the way that I want, my first thought is, how can I get rid of these pounds? And so I might starve myself for a few days or not do something because my goal literally is to zip a dress. But I think you make a valuable point that it should be 90% about nutrition. And if my nutrition's in order, then my body is going to look the way it should.
Mm-hmm.
So when we come to you at Get Kimmy Fit 23, you're going to first do what with me? What would you find out from me?
We start with our wellness evaluation. What health issues are you facing? We talk about what your goals are, because without a vision, we can't go anywhere. Without a vision, the people will perish, right? So we got to set our vision, and then, well, what do you think it takes to get there? And then from that conversation, why are you where you are now? And then this is the dig deep. We have that real dig deep conversation. And sometimes we have to reschedule it because we need more time, but it is worth the time spent for you not to scapegoat any longer until we really literally find out what it is that got us to that place. And once we can identify that, then we can set steps. Is it a financial reason? It could be, it could be solely financial. Is it you don't eat because your kids need to eat first? Is it because you need to make sure that you keep your job like me? So what is it? We get to the bottom of it. And then why would you sacrifice yourself? If you're not here and you're not healthy, how can you help other people? How can you help your family? You won't be here. So you have to learn that you have to do the transformation in your head that if you're not healthy, you can't help anyone else. And so once you buy into that value, once you buy into that value, then it's then that we can start moving forward to, okay, she said, try this. I'm going to try it even though I don't feel like it today because what's my vision?
Okay. And I
Right?
like that because I do think obviously January is a month where they resolve to do a lot of things. They have a lot of visions. And I'm going to give us all a pass for the last 10 months and say that COVID is the reason. Like when I see people at the store and we're all messed up and I may not recognize them, they say, oh, you didn't see me because I have my COVID-19, meaning the extra 19 or 20 pounds they gained. So, but realistically, I'm in my home. I can't go to a gym. I can't do a lot of things. What's other than, you're saying to get my mind right. What things are you recommending for me to do in my home? What can I do today to start on this, to start to transform the mind so I can transform the body to match the vision? If I said that right.
I'm going to say the most important one for last because it ties up all the other concepts. The easier ones are earn your treats. And then that way you don't have to condemn yourself and punish yourself for the times that you have a treat.
How do I earn a treat? Help me out.
So you set a goal for the week and you complete that goal, that health goal through the week. And then you have a reward already set up for what it is at the end. And so you have your vision again and you're working through your steps along the week. My company provides that kind of support through the week to help you monitor in the beginning how to stick with your goals, stick with your plans. But if you're independent and you can do it on your own, great. We just set up the plan of action and then you move forward. So those are treats.
Independent usually doesn't really work. And that's why some of us are stuck in a rut where we started to do it the right way and then we've gotten off. So you're saying it's healthy eating first.
Healthy eating first.
Healthy eating. Then it's healthy vitamins that work with our bodies.
So the concept is that the foods that we eat that are healthy should provide the nutrients we need.
Okay.
We shouldn't need vitamins. However, because the food that's processed that the stores gather from have to keep the color bright and pretty so
Yeah.
that they look nice at the store and attractive.
Right.
So they put chemicals on them to grow them faster, to make them pretty and bright, so that they can be wanted at the store. However, now your body has to spend the first part of the time breaking down that chemical off the vegetables, off the food, to just get to the nutrients. By the time it finishes figuring out what this poison is, your body's done eating for that period. So now you haven't even gotten to the nutrients. Then you have chemicals on, you have pesticides because they don't want it eaten. You won't buy the food if it has little holes in it.
Right.
So now they're putting the pesticides on it as well. So now your body's like, all this is foreign. And you wonder where cancer comes from. We're putting the chemicals in our body. We're putting all of the disorder in our body. So the company that I use for my cellular nutrition recommendation has their own farm. They harvest their own vegetables. They do not use pesticides and chemicals on their vegetables. It goes from the farm straight to the factory, dried and powdered, and then pressed. If you get them wet, they're going to stick together. That's how pure they are. And so we
Wow.
work with what are those good nutrients? Because you can eat vegetables all day like I used to do. I used to juice, but I was juicing sugar.
Yeah,
There's
right.
so much sugar in vegetables.
No, I love it. People love, I'm going to juice 5 pounds of carrots, and carrots are so sweet. If I felt like, okay, this is soda. So if I get with you at Get Kimmy Fit 23, you're going to, are you going to give me a list of foods that work with me?
We're going to go through, we're going to first do our assessment and then go through possibilities of foods, but we look at the pattern of eating first. What is the pattern of eating? So if you're trying to gain weight, then you need your nutrients along with some extra lean meats.
Okay.
Okay, so we look at that. And then when should you eat? If you're having maybe a shake in the evening, you're going to lose weight as opposed to gain. So we look at your pattern. You need to make sure that in between, you're feeding yourself the nutrients you need to continue to raise your metabolism or keep it going. Once you get it up, you want to keep it up. So we have that pattern. Then you have people who want to lose weight, but they go home at night after work at 8 o'clock and start dinner.
Yeah, well, that's how that used to work.
No,
Yeah.
we teach you, here's a nugget, pack it up, put it in the lunch box and have it for lunch tomorrow. Have your shake.
Wow.
You're
So
saving
there
the
we
calories,
go.
but you're getting the nutrients at night.
So I'm going to learn nutrition. I'm going to learn what's going to work well for my body. I love the idea of the blood type diet. I had not heard about that until about 6 months ago when a friend mentioned it. And then I got my blood type done. I got the book, and I did not realize that the things that made me feel miserable were things I should never eat. I did not realize the things that that certain foods work as a toxin in my body. I did not realize that. So that was exciting for me. So to hear you say that, but the reason why I think that you're such a powerful example to have here is lots of times I'm talking to people that never had a challenge. They were fit from the time they were little, and they're always fabulous. So to know that you were at a point in your life where you really weren't sure you're going to make it, when you tell me that you had the same amount of blood as a cadaver before they embalm it. Yes. And now I see you and you're glowing and you're gorgeous. And I have actually worked out with you, and it is super crazy. You put me I thought we were going to go on a walk, and it was a torturous walk that really made me realize, boy, there's things I need to do. It's exciting to know that in my home, I can start something working with you now virtually that's going to get me out of the rut that maybe I've gotten into, and that's going to get me on the path because my vision is always good health. Looking good is hopefully something that's going to come along the way. So
it's funny you say that, Carolyn, because when I started this walk, it was all about just paying forward what I learned. And so when you walked into my world, I'm so glad you did. It was about just paying forward what I learned that thus far. That was in my year 3. I had not really understood the physical fitness part as far as sharing it with others. So yeah, I worked you.
Yes.
Because I was working myself at that level. But what I've learned since then is that women need something more motivating. They need something where they can start. Just like children, where you walk into the classroom and you're assessing where they are, you can't start with multiplication if they can't add. And so I have to really work with where women are right then. If you're overweight, you're not going to go and do 2 laps or 20 miles. You're not going to do that. And so I'm more realistic now that I have experience with all of the women that I've worked with and men, that I know that, okay, your physical fitness workout, not for you, Carolyn, but for someone who's just starting out and they're 80 pounds overweight, every hour for 5 minutes, you're going to go walk to the kitchen and get your water. You're going to take a
That's it.
longer path around. That's it. Take a longer path to the kitchen. Go to the bathroom every hour. Then go get your water. Then drink it. And then come back to your desk and then fill your glass back up. We do simple movement because
Oh,
it
I
triggers
love
your
that.
heart. Yes. Whatever that person needs is the final step that we provide for women. And so we offer the whole walk. Yes, you get the fitness. I do have women who are ready. They come in, they've lost all their weight except 10 pounds. And they want that. They can't, that's their point. We have something for everyone. Okay, we got you for the 10 pounds. Let's see what you've been doing. Let's assess that. Has that worked for you? These things will keep. Let's try these things. And we go through those trials because no one is the same. Nobody is the same. And so we work through that. That's part of the program, having that accountability. That's what I love about that program.
So
And
you
also,
are gonna. I know, right? It's like you make me so excited about it because what I'm learning is that I've got to have better nutrition. I've got to be devoted, or at least change my mission so it is take care of me. I have got to be willing to look at how I eat and when I eat, and then not to do something big. Because to me, sometimes when we've done nothing, we go out and do something big because we figure we're going to do this. But you make an interesting point. If I have to walk to the kitchen to get my water, or then go to the bathroom first and then walk to the kitchen, what I've noticed is as part of my COVID weight gain and trek down unhealthy habits, it was to put everything I want around me so I didn't have to move. And the remote control was
right.
handy. So now you're helping me realize that on a very granular level, I can start to move forward and do what I need to do. And I can little by little, kind of like the person we had on last week, the wellologist, who said she had to crawl before she could walk. So you're letting me know baby steps count, and we put them all together and it works. So how can we reach you again?
Get Kimmy Fit 23, or you can go to Kimberly Monique on
On Facebook.
Facebook. Get Kimmy Fit 23 on Instagram.
Okay, so it's get
Yes, those locations you
KIMMY.
can find me.
So I want to spell it
Kimmy
out.
Fit.
It's KIMMYFIT 23, and that's on Instagram. And you're
Yes.
Kimberly Monique on Facebook.
Yes.
And then you're gonna be there with me. You're gonna be that happy face cheering me on and giving me this encouragement, as well as educating me about all these things that can take me from being a dud on the couch to somebody that can move around and feel good.
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
And we have a whole group of coaches. This is a community of positive people. Wake up in the morning, start your affirmations, start with your prayer, your affirmations, your gratitudes, things that are blessing your life. You have to continue that energy in life every single morning. Wake up with that. Then you go from there and you look at your goals for the day. What are my goals? What are my responsibilities? What are my priorities? So schedule. I know that we feel like, okay, it's 40 years. I got this under wraps. I can do it from my head. No, schedule it because you need other people to respect your time.
Okay.
If you don't show that you respect your time, people will call, hey, can you take to this place? Hey, can you go here? Hey, can you babysit? No, respect your time. Set your time, set your goals for yourself through the day. And if you have windows of space and you can give forward, give forward. This is when I can help you. And that way you're able to choose the blessing that you're giving to people and they respect it more. And so make
Wow,
sure you're
I love
scheduled.
that.
Yes.
I really love that.
Make sure don't bring the trash home. If your treat is a bag of chips at the end of the week, which shouldn't be your treat, but if it is, if that's your treat and you've earned it, go to the store, go to the convenience store and get a little teeny bag of chips. Eat some of them slowly. You'll have the same feeling if you eat a few of those than if you eat fast the whole bag. And don't go to the grocery store and get the super discounted one, because you'll bring it home. Don't bring the trash home, and you'll eat it later. No, you earned one treat, right? So we work on those kind of thinking patterns. Eat slower. We talk about that, and the most important thing is, if you snooze, you lose, right?
What
If
does that
you
mean?
are not taking care of yourself and getting rest, none of this works.
Okay.
The accountability won't work. The fitness won't work. The eating does not work. I can give you all great and you follow my food pattern. But if you're not sleeping, you're not losing any weight or gaining weight or getting to your goals. Sleeping is the
Wow.
most important thing, especially for everybody. But for women, we get to the point where we feel so imbalanced, and we're looking crazy to our family because we're barking at them and yelling at them and stressing them out and stressing ourselves out because we didn't stop and give ourselves sleep. You need 7
Okay,
hours a
so
night on
and
average.
let me
You
just
really
tell you
need
this.
to sleep first.
We had a cardiologist. We have had a cardiologist here. We had an incredible natural pharmacist who is a local professional here, one of the top pharmacists. We had a wellologist here, and we had a mental health professional here. And having you as a perfect example of an incredible coach that teaches wellness and healthcare, et cetera, or healthy habits, the 5 of you have now said, if we're not sleeping, we're not going to do anything else. And sleeping is the one thing that we have typically always compressed. If you've got something to do, we will push through a deadline, and then we get into a habit of binge watching Netflix and staying up and maybe sleeping on a sofa, sleeping on a chair, not making it to our bed. So there's Anthony back. So
Oh, no, no, no. Keep going. Don't.
wonderful. So hearing this over and over again, what I love is when people tell me simple, practical things I can do immediately. I've learned so much that with Kimmy Fit, Get Kimmy Fit 23, that it is a community of coaches. That I am going to get I'm going to get my head right first, get my nutrition right, and I'm going to do what's right for me as Carolyn Howe in terms of the habits I need to. So that idea of that personal assessment with you, that's something that I want to revisit right away. A personal assessment to see, what am I doing wrong? Because I feel like I'm doing some things right. So what am I doing wrong that isn't getting me to my real end game? What were you going to say, Anthony?
Yeah, Coach Kimmy, as I listen to the discussion you and Carolyn are having, I'm diabetic,
Mm.
and being diabetic, you hear so many different advice as to the do's and don'ts, right? And I'm listening to you, I'm saying, but wait a minute, same thing with weight loss, right? You're trying to manage your weight and you get so many advice, but then I'm like, okay, but I thought they said if you just simply juice, that's a good way to do this, but you're saying, no, not necessarily. So how does a novice, a person who doesn't know what they're doing, listening to all this advice coming to them, so what is right and what's wrong? It's
You get
confusing.
Kimmy Fit 23. No, that's why I was saying, Anthony, for me, that personal assessment, because I'm not where I was when I was in my 50s or 40s or 30s, and certainly not my 20s. So what in the world do I do? And I just think what you have said is amazing. A personal assessment. I think he made a good point. I think most of us, I know that diabetes is something huge in the African American community, not that other ethnicities don't have that challenge. But for you to kind of give that advice around knowing what nutrition is right for you, speak on
Juicing. Yes. Juicing, just in general, I don't want that to go wandering.
it. Okay.
Juicing gives you a whole bag of juice, a whole bag of sugar. So please, if you're diabetic, that is not the process for you, because what you're extracting is the skin on the vegetables that you need for the nutrients. That's what you need.
So
We're
I need
missing.
to chew. I need to chew my.
You need to chew your food, or you need to take the nutrients that you're extracting and make it into a food. Use that as your base for soup.
Oh,
Use that. But here's the caveat. If you're buying your vegetables from the store, the local store, you need to know where they're getting them from. If they're using the pesticides and chemicals, you're just putting that back into your body. That's the concept of juicing. Like, okay, there's so much stuff on the skin. Let's get rid of the skin and just take the inside out. But the nutrients are in the skin. The problem is, where are we getting the vegetables from?
Okay, so since I can't typically control that, there are certain items that are called veggie washes that I can wash the exterior of certain fruits or vegetables before I prepare them.
Yes.
In that case, is it okay to keep that skin?
Yeah, some things like your greens, yes.
For
Your
green?
greens, yes. Just there's a lot. There's a lot of
Well, I would
different
just say this. So
things.
one thing I know, one big no-no I heard a long time ago is if you have to buy something organic, buy organic berries and organic apples. Why apples so much? Why is it that apples are so toxic?
The skin is permeable, and so it absorbs into the flesh all of the pesticides and chemicals as
Oh
well.
my God. Oh, I love apples. What?
I know, right?
No. Eat the apples, flush your body with lots of water and fiber. Okay?
So
But
would the skin count as
it's more
fiber? But do organic?
do more organic than you can, and try to go to more farm-fed locations where they use less chemicals, where the
Yeah,
vegetables are.
even organic is also controversial because
Mhm.
I've heard in the past where folks were labeling produce and food as organic, and they weren't really organic. So how do you
Go to the
how do you
farmers
filter
market.
all this?
Go to the farmers markets. Support those local farms that they harvest their vegetables right away, so they don't have to use so many chemicals on their products. They won't, they don't rush the process. You want to find true farmers markets where they honor that kind of organic process.
Well, that's
There
good
are
to know.
a lot
And
of farms around here in Maryland too.
Right. So we living in Maryland, even though we're literally 15 minutes from the White House when there's no traffic on those rare days, we are also really about an hour away from what is Amish country. So over the summer,
Wow. Oh
I
wow.
am, I am there. The Amish farmers. I mean, and I'm not just going to an Amish market. This is their farm. So we see their schoolhouse, we see their horse-drawn carriages, and there
Wow.
in the fields are their greens. They have the kales and the cabbages. They harvest their own apples. They harvest
Mhm.
their own tomatoes. Their greenhouse tomatoes. When I taste one of those tomatoes, it may not look as pretty as a tomato in the store, but the flavor is what I remember from a child. So you're saying
Grow your own. Grow your own.
well, not everybody does. If I'm living in New York City or if I'm in downtown DC, it's hard to grow my own, but I
Okay.
can get access to it. But just the idea of being more thoughtful about nutrition and not have weight loss at all costs, I think that that's important too to understand.
So I also want to share, Carolyn, with the concept of we can't get to these farms as easily. We don't have the land space to grow our own farms, even though there's green space along the wall you can grow. We'll talk about that another time.
Okay.
I have no scapegoating is my new thing this year. But we do have the product that I recommend for nutrients actually provides you with your day's amount of nutrients. You don't have to really worry about that. You just want to have internal muscle memory for digesting food. So we still eat those things. We clean it as well as we can.
Say that again.
Muscle memory. Internal muscle memory. Right. You want your body to know how to eat and process foods, but you also want to pair it with the proper vitamin that will break down as if it was in the food. With your food you're eating, you have your vitamins, and it breaks down as if your body is getting it out of the food. It processes it through your intestinal lining, has hair philia that grabs the nutrients. It will still go through the hair philia provided your digestive you've done your cleanse.
Right.
And then it goes to your bloodstream, right? And so you're still getting what you need. So as Anthony asked, well, how do I ensure getting my nutrients? Make sure you're getting to a pure vitamin company that can give you everything you need for your day's intake. You cannot take a one a day in the morning and think that's going to help you in the afternoon. When you take your one a day and you're tired later on, it's because your body does not chelate vitamins. which means it doesn't ration. Okay, well, I'm going to have this much this morning and we're going to save this vitamin over here. No, that's already in your stool.
Oh my goodness.
So you need to have the right amount of vitamins per meal throughout the day. And so
You
I
know what we're
provide
going to need to do?
training on that.
You know what we're going to need to do?
What?
I think this is motivating me to. We need to put together a special broadcast where you will give a tutorial. All right, you will do what you do, right, as a coach. Send out an invite, and this will be a virtual classroom. Okay, where you're really walking folks through, because it's very confusing. People really need to be educated and get the right information, because weight loss is something that people struggle with. This constant fluctuation, where people can't maintain or be consistent. And I just think that we need to have a different approach to this. It's just too much information, too many different things coming at you. And I just think we need to sort of have a more strategic, targeted approach to how we can create this platform to be able to really educate those who are really interested in that information.
I love that. I think that that's a great suggestion. And I love the high level, just those points that she mentioned of what we want to keep in mind. Keep in mind our nutrition, keep in mind how we eat, when we eat, what we're eating, and what our objective is. For her objective initially was simply to get healthy and not die. And now she's on a mission to help everybody stay alive and be really fabulous. I mean,
absolutely.
I definitely will say that in my teammates, illnesses that they've encountered have come and gone like this. Like they notice a sniffle and then it's gone because they have the nutrients in their body to fight off and ward off.
I want to get there. That's where I want to get to. I want to get to that place.
I want that immune system. All right, Anthony, we've talked way too much today, but this was great. This was perfect.
Yeah, our other guest, Carolyn, she's having some challenge trying to dial in. So I really appreciate it. So the reason you see me going on and off is because I was trying to help solve the issue.
Well, that's the beauty of live TV. We've had some stream issues in and out, but it doesn't matter, because I love this kind of discussion around healthcare, and I love people who I'm always looking for fact-based information, because there's myth and there's magic, and then there are facts that we need to be able to properly use. So I loved having fact-based information, and I love a person who really had a journey that took them from, you didn't do anything strange, you didn't have special surgeries that cut away things, and you didn't suddenly go to a boot camp that took you out of your regular life where you did something really weird for 30 days and then came back and tried to live in the real world. You were in the real world trying to figure out, how can I walk up those steps? How can I provide for my family? And you figured out what you needed to do. So can you just share those points with me again? Just give me the points without the explanation with them. What are my points in terms of what we want people to take away?
We want to make sure that the treats are not in the house.
No treats.
And no treats in the house. Go out and have them, enjoy them, and leave them. If you go to the restaurant and you're having cheesecake, don't bring leftovers. Bring the burger leftover home. Don't bring the fried shrimp home. Leave it. Okay.
Okay.
Make sure that you give yourself that mental Zen time. I'm all about Zen. I have a Zen room. No one else can go in my room. I keep it locked.
Okay.
I have my shells I've collected from the beaches that I love. Little pieces. I keep me first, and I put it in my affirmation. Like if I'm not here to help anyone else, then what there's no point, right? I got to make sure I take care of me and put me first. I keep my why in front of me when I'm working. My kids, they're big now, but I just keep my little people with things that make me happy. So you have the Zen space within yourself when you're rested. It's no good if you're not rested. Back to resting, eating, back to resting, drinking, back to resting. Everything ties back into, if you're not resting, your body's not processing anything. People who have the gut, the waist, the internal non-digestive happenings, it's because they're not resting. So their body doesn't have time to really just relax and break down food and get it into your bloodstream. So you get, everything ties back to that. You're calming yourself down. You're getting rest. You're not crazy in everyone else's eyes because you're all over the place, because you're in balance. You're scheduled. Make sure you're scheduled. Make sure they're respecting your schedule, and you're taking care of you first. It's all
I
about you.
love
Take care of you, and then you can take care of others.
It's like they say on the airplane, get your oxygen mask on first and then assist the next person. So yeah, I am really taking this. I am going to have that mental time.
Yep.
I'm going to remember my why, what makes me happy, rest and sleep, schedule time. And if I'm going to treat myself, I'm going to leave my treats in the streets. And then come home.
I like that.
All right, Anthony, thank you.
All right, thank you so much, ladies. Let's circle back with each other. Let's try to organize that special broadcast on how people should, manage their or discipline themselves when it comes to their consumption of food, the things that they, we don't know that's harming our bodies. It's making us sick, and so, I think it was Michael Milken said the best mitigation to the healthcare crisis we have in this country is prevention. If we put more focus on prevention, we have less people that are sick in this country. And I really believe that. And we need to invest a lot more time in preventing the ailments that we have in our society.
Wonderful.
All right?
Thank you so much. All right. Thank you, Coach Kimmy.
Thank you. Thank you.
We will see you
so much.
next time. Have a great day.
All right. Now,
okay. Bye-bye.
All right, folks, welcome back. And that was a great conversation between my colleague, Carolyn Howell from the Washington, D.C., Maryland, Virginia area, and Coach Kimmy. It is certainly, healthcare, our healthcare system in this country is one of the most expensive in the world. It is, there's a lot of inequality, disparity in terms of how we approach dealing with our health. And I'm a firm believer in that. I believe we are able to mitigate the health challenges that we have through prevention. If we discipline ourselves, if we focus on ourselves in terms of what we consume, we will be better off. I have with me our other guest, Dr. Karen Green. Now, Karen, I know that we're just a few minutes before we close out. We have about 8 minutes before we close out the first segment. And what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to then go into the second studio, the second segment. Use that second link that I sent you, and we'll then continue that conversation. But how are you doing, my friend? It's been forever since you and I have had the opportunity to see each other and to really, Happy New Year, by the way. Happy New Year, publicly telling you this for the first time. You're looking great. How have you been?
Happy New Year to you, Anthony. Yes, first, I sincerely apologize for my. We're going through one of those security reasons that we're having to get some extra here. So thank you again. I'm like you, hopeful, anticipating that for after this month, and I'm doing well. The conversation.
Okay. Do you mind turning up your volume a little bit? Could you turn up the volume on your computer a little bit? I'm struggling to hear you. Turn up the volume.
Are you hearing me any better?
I think so, but if you just hit the volume button, just turn it up, and you're good.
So we're dealing with two devices unlike other times. How is that?
Oh, okay. No problem. Okay, I think I can hear you better now.
Okay, good.
So we are at a very pivotal time in the country. I try to stay away from the politics, right? Because a lot of times I just think it's a lot of noise. I think it's self-serving. I think it's biased. I think politics, speaks to the belief system, the position of a political party, and to create a sort of a neutral position. You kind of make sure you don't engage it too much. You kind of minimize it because you want to be objective, right? You want to be fair on both sides. But what we can't ignore is where we are as a country. We are at a historical point in the history of our country. We are literally we are seeing the transformation of the country. We're trying to find ourselves. We're trying to discover who we are for the next several generations. And so clearly there are the political philosophical position that the sides have taken and really struggling to take the country. And so at the end of the day, are we Americans or are we the parties we belong to? And I believe that if we first understand that our allegiance is to this country, that's the starting point for us. Because no matter, we're going to agree to disagree, right? We're going to have our differences, but at the end of the day, we need to come together to put aside our differences because it is the whole and not just the part.
Well said, Anthony. I think you're correctly right. At this point, COVID has actually and in all honesty, we are now facing those two dilemmas across this unit. It's universal. It's not just the United States. We are now there together fighting a deadly disease, as well as what we now know to be political unease across the country. But yes, I totally agree with you. We're no longer seen as Republicans, Independents, or Democrats. We're all seen as people facing two deadly dilemmas. What it now is social injustice, social unrest, and the pandemic. So yeah,
absolutely.
We're here.
Let me share with folks, because yes, we're going to end the first segment and then we're going to continue with the second segment. We're going to log off. We're going to log out of the first segment and then log into the second. But let me just kind of give our audience a sense of who you are. You are certainly a person from the Caribbean, but you reside in the United States. You're from. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I never asked you if you're born or if you're from the Caribbean directly, but doesn't matter. What matters most is your role within this country and how you are a force to be reckoned with in the political scene. You are a political strategist. You've worked as a campaign manager on a number of campaigns. And let me just kind of give a sense of former Central President at the Caribbean Democratic Caucus of Florida, Greater Orlando Democratic Women's Club. Your resume is incredible. Former Senior Advisor for the U.S. Territories at the Bloomberg for 2020 Path to Power Commission and Resolution Committee member at Florida, political TV commentator on Fox, NBC, and Spectrum News at TV political contributor, president at the Blue Fields Consultants, chair of Diversity and Inclusion and Campaign Committee at Florida Democratic Party, former delegate whip Democrat National Convention at Hillary for America. I'm going to stop there. The list goes on and on and on. You're a powerhouse. You are a powerhouse politically. I think you and I met for the first time, if my memory served me correctly, when Hillary Clinton was running for president. You were leading the team at that point for the delegation for the Hillary campaign, and that's how you and I met. And so you are a powerhouse, like I said. And what I want to be able to talk about when we continue with the second segment is, what do you believe this is going to mean for the Caribbean diaspora, Caribbean Americans in this country? And what is it going to mean directly for the Caribbean region in this new political environment? With a new administration, a president-elect Joe Biden, and a vice president-elect Kamala Harris. What does it really mean? And how is it going to be impacted in terms of going forward for us as Caribbean people in this country? And if you want, we can maybe kind of you can, give a sense, a couple minutes, take a minute to kind of, let people know what we're gonna talk about on the other side in the second segment.
Sure, Anthony. First of all, Powerhouse, I'm humbled and honored to be telling you that I am an advocate for Caribbean, long been an advisor for Caribbean interest. And you're right, we met when I was the advance for President Bill Clinton here in the Virgin Islands. With this administration for the Biden-Harris, we do know that the interest is no longer, or interest is now being clear, because now Kamala Harris, origin from Jamaican and Indian Pacific immigrants, she's familiar with the culture. She's also familiar with what it is that we have as an interest as Caribbean people. And so you're right, we'll be in the second section elaborating on where we are, particularly post-pandemic, and where we are, how we've been affected. I know that for Caribbean Americans across this globe, we have been not on the front line only, but we have the potential for occupation in the United States front line in healthcare, and for matter of fact, one of the first persons who was immunized is a Caribbean American nurse in New York City. And just
That's right.
For Anthony, I am of Jamaican, born in Marcus Garvey soil. I am a Jamaican by birth, naturalized U.S. citizen living in the state of Florida. Currently,
Oh, wow.
Currently, I'm the Diversity and Inclusion Chair for the state of Florida's Democratic Party, and I have been I was a PLO delegate for the Biden-Harris campaign. For the
All right.
Not a political discussion. We're gonna talk about the interests of our Caribbean people, and not
Okay.
the other side.
Fantastic. Let us end there. I'm going to end the first segment, and I just emailed you the second segment link. So use that, check your email, and use that link to dial back in. Okay. All right. This has been The Marketplace, the first segment, JumpStart TV, broadcasting on WSDX Radio and WSDX 970 AM on Tempo Television, on the Kalo Network, and JumpStart TV. We will be right back with the second segment.